What if I told you that the secret to deep, lasting friendships isn't being likable, but being virtuous? Today, I'm revealing the ancient Stoic approach to friendship that creates bonds stronger than blood, relationships that survive any storm, and connections that make both people better. This isn't about networking or people-pleasing. This is about building friendships that transform lives. Before I show you how to build relationships based on virtue instead of convenience, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Why? Because what I'm about to teach you will revolutionize how you think about friendship, love, and human connection. This is episode 9 of Be Stoic Every Day. And if you want relationships that truly matter, you need this foundation. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Daily Stoic Insights. I'm your host, and today we're exploring something the Stoics valued above almost everything else: true friendship. Seneca wrote hundreds of letters to his friend Lucilius, letters that have guided people for 2,000 years. These weren't casual updates about the weather. They were deep explorations of how to live well, how to face challenges, and how to grow in wisdom together. Epictetus taught that we should choose our friends the way we choose our teachers, based on their character and their commitment to virtue. Marcus Aurelius surrounded himself with advisors who would challenge him to be better, not just tell him what he wanted to hear. The Stoics understood something that modern culture has forgotten. The quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life. But they also understood that true friendship isn't based on shared interests, mutual benefit, or even emotional connection. It's based on shared commitment to virtue and mutual growth. Today, I'm going to show you how to build these kinds of transformative relationships. Here's what I'm going to give you today. First, the 3 levels of Stoic friendship and how to recognize each one. Second, specific practices for deepening existing relationships and attracting virtuous friends. And third, how to handle the inevitable challenges that come with deep friendship. Plus, I've got real examples of how these principles have transformed relationships in my own life. Let's start by understanding what the Stoics meant by friendship. They recognized 3 distinct levels. Level 1. Utility friendships. These are relationships based on mutual benefit. You help each other professionally, socially, or practically. There's nothing wrong with these relationships, but they're limited. When the utility ends, the friendship often ends too. Level 2. Pleasure friendships. These are relationships based on shared enjoyment. You have fun together, share interests, enjoy each other's company. Again, these can be valuable, but they're dependent on circumstances. When interests change or life gets difficult, these friendships often fade. Level 3. Virtue friendships. These are relationships based on shared commitment to character and growth. You challenge each other to be better, support each other through difficulties, and celebrate each other's moral victories. These friendships deepen over time and survive any external change. The Stoics focused primarily on building level 3 friendships while appreciating the others for what they were. The foundation, virtue-based connection. True Stoic friendship is built on 4 pillars. Pillar 1. Mutual respect for character. You admire each other not for what you have or what you've achieved, but for who you are and who you're becoming. You see virtue in each other and want to cultivate more of it. Pillar 2. Commitment to truth. You tell each other the truth, even when it's difficult. You don't enable each other's weaknesses or flatter each other's egos. You care more about each other's growth than each other's comfort. Pillar 3. Shared philosophical values. You don't have to agree on everything, but you share core values about what makes life worth living. You both prioritize character over convenience, wisdom over wealth, virtue over victory. Pillar 4. Mutual growth. You make each other better. Your friendship is a catalyst for both people to become wiser, stronger, and more virtuous. You challenge each other to live up to your highest potential. Practice number 1. The virtue assessment. Before deepening any friendship, honestly assess whether it's built on virtue or convenience. Ask yourself, does this person inspire me to be better? Do they tell me the truth even when it's uncomfortable? Do they prioritize character over external success? Do I feel challenged to grow when I'm with them? Would this friendship survive if our circumstances change dramatically? This isn't about judging people. It's about understanding what kind of relationship you have so you can invest your time and energy wisely. Practice number 2, the philosophical conversation. One of the fastest ways to deepen a friendship is to have philosophical conversations. Not abstract debates about ancient texts, but practical discussions about how to live well. Try these conversation starters. What's the most important lesson you've learned this year? How do you handle disappointment when things don't go as planned? What does success really mean to you? What's something you believe that most people disagree with? How do you decide what's worth your time and energy? These conversations reveal character, values, and depth. They separate people who are interested in growth from those who prefer to stay on the surface. Practice number 3, the challenge and support balance. True friends both challenge and support each other. They don't just offer comfort, they offer growth. Here's how to strike this balance. When to challenge. When you see them making decisions that contradict their stated values. When they're avoiding necessary but difficult conversations. When they're settling for less than their potential. When they're being dishonest with themselves. How to challenge. Ask questions rather than giving advice. Share your observations without judgment. Offer perspective, not solutions. Focus on their character and growth, not their circumstances. When to support. When they're facing genuine hardship. When they're taking risks aligned with their values. When they're being vulnerable and authentic. When they're making difficult but right choices. How to support. Listen without trying to fix. Validate their feelings while reinforcing their strength. Offer practical help when appropriate. Remind them of their past resilience and growth. Real-world application. The difficult conversation. Let me share how this works in practice. I had a friend who was constantly complaining about his job, but never taking action to change it. For months, I offered sympathy and suggestions, but nothing changed. Finally, I had a philosophical conversation with him. I notice you're really unhappy at work, but you haven't taken any steps to change the situation. Help me understand, what's holding you back? This led to a deeper discussion about his fears, his values, and what he really wanted from life. Instead of just venting about his problems, he started examining his choices. Within 6 months, he had changed careers and was much happier. The key was shifting from surface-level sympathy to virtue-based challenge. I cared more about his growth than his comfort. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this sounds intense. What about just having fun with friends? I'm about to address that concern and show you how Stoic friendship actually makes relationships more enjoyable, not less. Plus, I'm going to share how to attract virtuous friends when you feel like you're surrounded by people who don't share these values. One of the biggest misconceptions about Stoic friendship is that it's all serious philosophical discussions and moral challenges. That's not true. The Stoics understood that joy, laughter, and lightness are essential parts of human connection. The difference is that in virtue-based friendships, the fun comes from genuine connection rather than distraction from reality. You can laugh together, enjoy activities together, and have light-hearted moments, but these are expressions of your deep bond, not substitutes for it. Balancing depth and lightness. 80-20 rule. About 80% of your time together can be normal friendship activities, sharing meals, enjoying hobbies, having casual conversations. The other 20% involves deeper philosophical discussions and mutual challenge. Natural integration. You don't need to schedule virtue talks. These conversations arise naturally when you're both committed to growth. A casual comment about a work situation becomes a discussion about integrity. A shared experience becomes a lesson about resilience. Seasonal rhythms. Sometimes you'll go through periods of intense growth and challenge together. Other times you'll focus more on enjoyment and support. Both are necessary for a complete friendship. How to attract virtuous friends. If you feel like you're surrounded by people who don't share these values, here's how to attract like-minded friends. Step 1. Become the friend you want to have. Focus on developing your own character first. Virtuous people are attracted to virtue. When you consistently practice integrity, wisdom, courage, and justice, you naturally attract others who value these qualities. Step 2. Look in the right places virtue-minded people often gather around. Philosophy discussion groups, volunteer organizations, personal development workshops, book clubs focused on meaningful literature, fitness activities that require discipline, professional development events, religious or spiritual communities, regardless of specific beliefs. Step 3. Start philosophical conversations. Don't wait for others to bring up deep topics. Be the one who asks meaningful questions. Many people are hungry for these conversations but don't know how to start them. Step 4. Be patient and selective. Building virtue-based friendships takes time. Don't try to force depth with everyone. Focus on the people who respond positively to philosophical conversations and mutual challenge. Handling friendship challenges. Even virtue-based friendships face difficulties. Here's how to handle common challenges. Challenge 1. Different growth rates. Sometimes one person grows faster than the other, creating imbalance. Solution. The faster-growing person practices patience and continues to model virtue. The slower-growing person commits to catching up rather than holding the other back. Challenge 2. External pressures. Life circumstances can strain even strong friendships. Solution. Focus on what you can control, your own character and commitment to the friendship. Support each other through difficulties without trying to fix each other's problems. Challenge 3. Disagreements about values. Even virtue-minded people can disagree about specific applications of principles. Solution. Focus on shared core values while respecting differences in application. Use disagreements as opportunities for mutual learning. Challenge 4. One person stops growing. Sometimes a friend becomes complacent or stops prioritizing virtue. Solution. Continue to model growth and offer gentle challenges. If they consistently resist growth, you may need to adjust your expectations and investment in the relationship. Before I share the most powerful practice for deepening any friendship, let me address something that many people struggle with. How do you maintain virtue-based friendships when life gets busy, when you move to different cities, or when circumstances change? I'm also going to give you a simple daily practice that strengthens all your relationships. The beauty of virtue-based friendships is that they're not dependent on proximity, frequency of contact, or shared circumstances. They're based on character, which transcends external conditions. Maintaining long-distance virtue friendships. Quality over quantity. One meaningful conversation per month is better than daily superficial texts. When you do connect, make it count. Philosophical letters. Follow Seneca's example. Write thoughtful emails or letters sharing what you're learning, what you're struggling with, and how you're growing. Ask for their insights and perspectives. Shared reading. Read the same books and discuss them. This gives you common ground for philosophical conversations, regardless of your different daily experiences. Mutual accountability. Check in on each other's goals and commitments. Be accountability partners for character development, not just external achievements. Virtual philosophy sessions. Schedule regular video calls specifically for deeper conversations. Treat these as sacred time for mutual growth. The daily friendship practice. Every day, do one small thing to strengthen your relationships. Monday, send a thoughtful message to a friend you haven't talked to recently. Tuesday, have a philosophical conversation with someone in your daily life. Wednesday, practice gratitude by appreciating something specific about a friend. Thursday, offer help or support to someone without being asked. Friday, challenge someone you care about to grow gently and lovingly. Saturday, spend quality time with a virtue-minded friend. Sunday, reflect on how your friendships are helping you become a better person. The friendship legacy. Think about the legacy you want to leave through your friendships. How do you want people to remember their relationship with you? What impact do you want to have on their character and growth? Seneca's letters to Lucilius have influenced millions of people for 2,000 years. Not because they were famous, but because they represented genuine care for another person's philosophical development. You don't need to write letters that last for millennia, but you can have the same kind of transformative impact on the people in your life. Here's what happens when you master the Stoic art of friendship. You become surrounded by people who make you better. Your relationships become sources of strength, wisdom, and growth rather than drama, distraction, or energy drain. You stop tolerating toxic relationships because you know what healthy ones look like. You stop being needy or clingy because your friendships are based on mutual respect, not emotional dependency. You stop gossiping or complaining because your conversations focus on growth and solutions. But most importantly, you become the kind of friend you wish you had. You become someone who challenges others to be their best, supports them through difficulties, and celebrates their character victories. You become a catalyst for virtue in other people's lives. Aristotle said there are 3 types of friendship: utility, pleasure, and virtue. The Stoics understood that while all 3 have their place, only virtue-based friendships create lasting joy, deep meaning, and mutual transformation. When you have even one true virtue-based friendship, you have something more valuable than all the wealth, fame, or success in the world. You have a companion for the journey of becoming your best self. Here's your Friendship Transformation Challenge. Week 1, Assessment. Evaluate your current friendships using the Virtue Assessment. Identify which relationships are based on utility, pleasure, or virtue. Choose 2 to 3 relationships you want to deepen. Week 2, Philosophical Conversations. Have at least one meaningful conversation with each chosen friend. Use the conversation starters I provided. Notice how people respond to deeper discussions. Week 3, Challenge and Support. Practice the balance of challenging and supporting your friends. Offer one gentle challenge and one form of support to each person. Observe how this affects your relationships. Week 4, Integration. Begin the daily friendship practice. Start looking for opportunities to meet virtue-minded people. Reflect on how your approach to friendship is changing. Track your progress. How do your conversations change when you focus on virtue? Which friends respond positively to philosophical discussions? How does challenging and supporting others affect your own growth? What kind of friend are you becoming? If you're ready to build relationships that transform lives, smash that like button. You're not just supporting the channel, you're committing to virtue-based connection. You're saying, I choose to be the kind of friend who makes others better. Comment below with I commit to virtue-based friendship and tell me about one relationship you want to deepen using these principles. When you make a public commitment, you're more likely to follow through, and this community can support your growth. Share this video with a friend who challenges you to be better, someone who tells you the truth even when it's difficult, someone who cares more about your character than your comfort. Show them that you value what they bring to your life. Subscribe and hit that notification bell because next week we're covering our final episode, The Stoic Legacy, how to live in a way that creates lasting positive impact long after you're gone. It's the culmination of everything we've learned together. Remember, you become like the people you spend time with. Choose friends who inspire you to be virtuous, and become the kind of friend who inspires virtue in others. The quality of your relationships determines the quality of your character, and the quality of your character determines the quality of your life. Until next time, stay stoic, stay connected, and keep growing together.